Little Bunny Ben stood beneath the biggest apple tree in the forest. Its branches were so full of bright, shiny apples that they almost touched the ground. Ben looked up with a deep sigh. "Why does everyone else have apples, but not me?" he whispered. "Why can't I have my own apple tree?"
Before we continue, if stories like this move you, take a second to subscribe. Inspiring wisdom stories. Because you never know, the right story at the right moment might become the reason someone never gives up. Now, let's begin.
The next morning, Ben met Old Turtle Tim walking slowly along the forest path. Around his neck hung a tiny cloth pouch. Ben peeked inside. There were only a few little seeds. Ben's ears drooped. "Seeds? I wanted apples." Old Turtle Tim smiled warmly. "These are even better." Ben blinked in surprise. How can something this tiny be better than a big, juicy apple? The old turtle simply chuckled. Without saying another word, he gently placed one tiny seed into Ben's paw. Ben thanked him politely, but as he walked away, he couldn't hide his disappointment. On the way home, he saw Squirrel Sammy happily crunching a delicious apple. A little farther down the path, Dear Daisy rested peacefully beneath a giant apple tree, enjoying its cool shade. Ben looked around. Everyone had apples. Everyone, except him. He stared at the tiny seed in his paw. This isn't fair. He pulled back his arm, ready to toss it into the bushes. But just then, a tiny little bird fluttered down beside him. Without making a sound, it dropped a seed into the soft earth. Then it flew to a nearby stream and returned with a tiny drop of water in its beak. It gently watered the seed. A curious little bug crawled toward the soil. The bird quickly shooed it away. Then, it simply sat there, waiting. Ben tilted his head. "That's it? You're just going to sit there?" The bird didn't answer. The next day, it returned. It watered the seed again, protected it again, and waited again. Then, a tiny green sprout pushed through the soil. Ben's eyes grew wide. "It's growing." The little bird smiled. Everyone dreams about eating the fruit. It looked at the tiny sprout. But only a few are willing to take care of the seed. It looked back at Ben. And that's why so few ever grow their own tree. With one gentle flap of its wings, the little bird flew away, leaving behind a tiny green sprout. And Ben, still holding his own seed, for the very first time, he understood. Ben raced home. He carefully planted his seed. Every morning, he watered it. Every afternoon, he protected it. Every evening, he waited. Even when nothing seemed to happen. Rain fell. The warm sun returned. Leaves drifted across the ground. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Soon, a tiny green shoot appeared. Then little branches. Then bright green leaves. And finally, one beautiful red apple. It wasn't the biggest apple in the forest. It wasn't the shiniest. But when Squirrel Sammy, Dear Daisy, and Old Turtle Tim each took a bite, their eyes grew wide. It tasted sweeter than any apple they had ever eaten. Old Turtle Tim smiled. That's because apples grown with patience always taste sweeter. Ben gently placed his paw on his little tree. The leaves danced softly in the breeze. He smiled. He no longer wished for someone else's apples. He was proud. Because he had grown his own. So moral of story is, every great tree was once a tiny seed. Every big dream begins with one small step. Don't spend your life waiting for the fruit. Plant your seed today.